Hey everybody, it's Jenna. So in today's episode of Design Quick Tips, we're going to be talking about SVG Graphics. So SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphic. SVG file is an image file that you can add to your website. Websites are viewed on many screen sizes, and what a scalable vector graphic allows you to do is it allows your image to look great no matter what device you're looking at it on. And the reason being is a vector graphic can be blown up to any size without losing clarity like a raster image would. So in my last video, I showed you how to take a raster image and convert it into a vector image. So if you missed that video or if you're new, I'm going to link it down below, so take a look at that, because you could take what I showed you in that video and you can apply it to this one. So we're going to get started, but before we get into it, I just wanted to thank all my subscribers and everyone who has subscribed. You all are awesome and I love you. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below. So where does font awesome come into play here? Because in the title, I mentioned that SVGs can be a replacement for font awesome. And the reason I made that as the title of the video is I just wanted to kind of show people that if you're unaware, that font awesome is not the only option for adding icons to your website. You can also use SVG Graphics. Just want to make it clear that this video is not bashing Font Awesome in any way. I personally use it and I think Font Awesome is awesome. So if you come to Font Awesome and you need an icon, and the particular icon that you want, you don't really like the way it looks on Font Awesome, then you could either go to a website like Shutterstock or Adobe Stock, and you could find a royalty-free icon there that you like, or you can create your own, and I'm going to show you how to create your own in this video. I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to Google icon, and then I'm going to go to images, and let's find an image to use for this example. Let's just pick this one. This one works. So let's take this graphic and drag it to our desktop. Let's drag it into Adobe Illustrator. Let's try using the image trace feature to create a vector graphic. So as you can see, the sun disappeared and this cloud here doesn't really look like a cloud anymore. So let's close this. And let's go back into Photoshop. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Image, Adjustments, Replace Color. And now what we can do is with this little eyedropper tool here, we are going to click on the blue area, and we're going to take the saturation and we're going to drag it all the way to the left. And we're going to do the same thing for the lightness. And we are going to click OK. So that took care of the areas that I wanted to make darker. Let's now take care of the areas that I want to make lighter. So let's go to Image again, Adjustments, Replace Color. And now let's click on the middle eyedropper for the one that's got a little plus next to it. And let's click on the sun. And we also want to click on these pyramids here. And now let's drag the saturation the other way and the lightness the other way to make those parts of the image white. So now we're going to add a little bit more pixels to the image. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Image, Image Size. You could also get to that by clicking Command, Option I. And let's just change this resolution from 72 to, let's say, like 600 should probably be okay for this one. Let's click Command 0 to see the whole image, and now let's take it and let's save it as a TIFF file on our desktop. Go to the desktop, let's grab this TIFF file, and we're going to open that in Adobe Illustrator. Click OK, and let's zoom in on this, and let's click on this using the arrow tool. Or you could hit Quick Command V to bring up the arrow tool. And now we're going to image trace it. So let's click on image trace. And now let's click on expand. Because when you expand it, it basically separates the colors. So you see now how the moon came out okay and the clouds look okay compared to the last time I tried to do this. Because the image trace tool in Adobe Illustrator needs that contrast of the colors to be able to turn your image into a vector graphic. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white arrow tool, and you could also click A as a quick key. I'm just going to click on one of the white areas here. As you can see, you can move it. And I'm going to go to select, same, fill color, and I'm just going to delete the white. Now you can use this icon as is, or if it bothers you that there's no circle on the bottom, you could take your circle tool or hit L as the quick key. And by clicking Shift and Option, you could create a perfect circle. And I'm just going to take this and I'm going to swap the fill and stroke. Let's make the stroke a little bit bigger so you can see it. Let's make it 5 points. And let's bring it in here and increase the size so that we can make a bottom to the circle here. Let's just resize this a bit. A little bit more on the side. So okay, I think that doesn't look too bad. What I'm going to do is select everything by clicking Command A. And I'm going to go to Object, Path, and I'm going to go to Outline Stroke. And now I'm going to find my Pathfinder tool. So now with everything still selected, I'm going to take the Pathfinder tool and I'm going to click on the Unite button. It's the first one here. What that basically does is just merges everything and turns this into one vector graphic. So now we want to export this for the web. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this using my arrow tool, and I'm going to drag it into the asset export file. I'm going to drag this into the and what this panel lets you do is it lets you export your graphic at different sizes for the web. So if your panel says JPEG right here, just click on Format and then click on SVG. And then let's click Export, and we are going to export this to our desktop. Okay, it looks like that worked. So let's close this now. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to where we saved that SVG file from Adobe Illustrator. We're going to make sure there are no spaces in here, because you cannot have spaces in your images on the web. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this into the image folder of the site that we want to add it to. Now let's open up our index file by double clicking on it, and that should open it in your default web browser. So what I'm going to do just to show you that it works is I'm going to take my header background image and I'm going to replace it with the new SVG graphic that we just made. I'm going to save, and let's go to the website and refresh. And there's the image right there that we created. And if I zoom in on this, you can see it's not pixelated at all and it looks great. And SVG Graphics also have a relatively low file size. So SVG Graphics are great for both logos and icons that you're adding to your website, or any other element. You can also create SVG Graphics using CSS. But I'm not going to show you that in this tutorial. I just wanted to mention it, that you can create your own SVG shapes and graphics using just CSS. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and if you did, definitely give me a like down below, and if you didn't, go ahead and hate. And if you found this helpful, definitely be sure to go share it on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're on. And if you're new here, definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more mini tutorials or quick tips or whatever you want to call it. So that's it for me. Bye!